Hey there, team. You're listening to Lachlan Stuart, and it is an incredible Tuesday morning here. It's nice and early. The sun is just rising over the river right now, and it's perfect temperature. I couldn't even tell you what temp it is, but it's warm. We're heading into summer over here in Brisbane, so it's perfect. But what you guys obviously may or may not know, I'm driven to help people thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally. And what you can hear from me are some tips and stories from my own experiences and just the incredible people that I have in my life on topics around mental health, fitness, and nutrition. And for today, or for this morning, while I'm sipping on my nice warm coffee on the balcony, or not really on the balcony anymore because it was a bit too windy, just inside the balcony looking out, I just wanted to talk about valuing your time and valuing your time, but also valuing other people's times and being aware of when they're not valuing your time. Now, why this sort of came up, I had an experience yesterday, and I'll talk more about that later. But I think, all of us are aware, the older you get, the more responsibilities you get, the less time we seem to have. When, ultimately, every single day we have the same amount of time. It really just comes down to, are you using it efficiently? Okay, so by efficiently, are you using it for things that are going to benefit your life or the people that you care about? Okay, and are you accounting for every minute, or are you just sort of cruising through the day, letting time waste in small drips and drabs, which over a day and a week and a year adds up? Okay, and I'm guilty of this. There's been so many times I think back to before I really grasped the concept of owning my time and controlling my time through scheduling, how much time I wasted, with putting meetings all over the place. I was driving back and forward countless times a day, times when I didn't have too much structure, that I was walking around trying to think of what I had to do next. And just times when I loved to game or chill out, when I would just sit in front of the PlayStation playing Call of Duty. And, I guess that has its place. That's not always wasting, but when you're playing days on end, it kind of is not valuing my time. So going on that top one, it's like, how much time do you have in a day? And this is for the people, I guess, especially who are just like, I'm just going to go with the flow, it's all just going to happen. Okay, but here's the thing. Time's wasting and time's going very, very fast. And whether you've got children listening to this or you're an extremely busy person, and there's a difference between being busy and being productive, guys, and I'll talk a little bit about this shortly. I'm just taking note because I didn't write that one down, so I don't want to forget to talk about that. Yeah, so in taking note of that, so what I personally like to do, and this is just my own personal opinion and preference, and I'm sure everyone has their own, and if you do, I would love to hear from you guys. If you're listening to this on Apple iTunes podcast or on Anchor, download the Anchor app and just call in. You can find me at Lachlan Stuart. Call in and just share your opinion. I'd love to hear it, or some tricks that you've got around valuing your time and what it means to you, time. So, and back to where I was, a little bit of a rant there while I was taking a note and having a sip of coffee, was really, how much time do you have in a day, and how much time of the 24 hours are you spending doing things that are gonna, for me, my belief is, progress your life or enhance your life? And what I mean by that is every day, obviously, we have a few non-negotiables which we have to get done. And obviously, ultimately, those might change from the weekdays to the weekends. Okay, but let's just say, for example, non-negotiable is work, right? So whether it's 9 to 5 or whatever hours you work, it's like, I know I've got to put that time in, and that's what I'm doing at work. And you can do this same thing for work, guys, so you're more productive at work rather than being busy. Right? How good would it be being productive because everything runs smoothly and you've got a good order of events, as opposed to just being busy and stressed because you don't know what you should be doing next? So yeah, if you can get on top of that, whether it's a Sunday or you just do it every morning and just get your list of events, but start thinking about what's going to be the most time efficient thing and what do you need to get, or what is the most important thing for you to get done first. So you spend most of your time getting the most important thing done first, because if at the end of the day you run out of time, or an emergency happens, or whatever stuff pops up, that's life, you've got that one thing done, so you can really feel good about doing that. So let's once again go back to those non-negotiables. So work, obviously we've got to eat, we've got to brush our teeth. I don't go that detailed and schedule in brushing my teeth and stuff, I just do it. But I do put in obviously roughly how long I'd like to take for my meals. I don't schedule it in when, because I sort of do it just before or after training, and it roughly takes me 20 minutes to prep and eat. So that's not too bad, and I just know that from experience. I probably, if you wanted to get a bit more hardcore into it, you could definitely do that. Then obviously, if you've got kids events, or if you've got afternoon function, or if you've got weekend functions, schedule all of that in, because that's all happening regardless. So what I'm getting at is, once you've done all this scheduling, right, you know how much time you've got. Okay, so you know how much time's taken up by work, by kids, by family, by travel, by exercise, all that sort of stuff. Then find your other blocks, okay? So those empty blocks now are your time, right? And you'll be surprised that you actually have more time available than you think. Because if if you've got an hour on this and then half an hour on that, you're probably going to be more productive than you would if you don't set a time cap, because you're just going to dawdle, you're going to let things distract you because, hey, you've got all the time in the world, right? So once we get into that and have that structured, let's start thinking about what would you like to do in that time. So start thinking about, whether you're striving to be better, or, change your lifestyle, or health. It's like you can spend a bit more time working on stuff that's going to improve you. You can start spending more time with the family. You can start going to the beach, going for surfs. Ultimately you can do whatever you want with it and not stress about it, because everything's taken care of in the time that you've allotted it. Nice, delicious coffee. Black coffee is what I'm drinking. So once you've done that, it's just really thinking about, depending on where you're at in life, it's like, do you want to game? Or for me personally, where I'm at, I like to spend a lot of my time either, chilling, or, I might watch a Netflix show, stretching on the floor. So whenever I'm watching episode with my lady, or whatever, I'll be sitting on the floor where we've got a roll or a stretch band, the pressure point, trigger balls, all that sort of stuff. So I multitask there. I don't really pay too much attention to the TV because that hurts too much. But see, you can do that sort of stuff. Or do you spend those other spare bits of time, and this is a bit of a tangent, people pleasing, doing stuff for other people that, isn't, and this may sound selfish, but hey, time's important. People pleasing, entertaining people, doing things that you don't want to be doing because you can't say no. Anyone relate to that, eh? So doing things like that, and look, everyone's guilty of it, because we, a lot of us are scared to say no, or a lot of us have really big hearts and want to help people. But here's the thing, like I've said multiple times in this, you need to start valuing your time, because if you don't value your time, people won't value your time. And if that happens, you're going to have less and less time as the years go on. Okay, so start thinking about whether you're people pleasing or not. And a little story around that. Yeah, so the little story around that is really, yesterday, got obviously a network marketing business and do a lot of coaching, fitness coaching, and also working with people who've gone through similar to what I've gone through, which you'll hear probably on a podcast one day, hey? And this lady just started randomly having a chat, which is fine. I'm all open for chatting if it's value adding. And the chat here is just boring, so I sent a thumbs up, and then it's got some smart ass remark back, and then I just said, sorry, I'm just bored. And straight away, that kind of pissed me off. I know it shouldn't have, but it did, because in a way, to me, it's like that person doesn't respect me enough to value my time. They're bored and they're hoping I'm here to entertain them. And in the reality, like, I know where I'm at in life, and I value my time enough to know, hey, I've got big goals. I want to make an impact. I'm being super productive with this time schedule. My free time's later, and I don't want to be just having random boring chat to help entertain someone. Is that, please value my time, because I'm trying to do, work, help people, get information, grow. And I sent back a message which was sort of saying that, and I 100% did not mean any of this in a bad way. It was just, look, I'm busy, or not busy, productive. I'm working on something at the moment. Okay. I don't have time, and I don't want to be someone to just try and entertain you. If you're bored, it's a perfect time to start learning and growing. Grab a book or do something else. If you've got that much downtime, how exciting, right? So I can't remember how exactly it went, but it went like that. And I don't mean to say that to anyone, and you guys as well, if you've been out there and you experience this as well. It's understand where you're coming from. If the other person on the other end can't understand where you're coming from, don't let that be your problem. That's their problem, okay? And you got to value your time. You got to be productive, because if I'd have continued with that chat, and I don't feel it would have been very value adding. I could have been wrong, but I don't feel it would have been, helping me help other people, learning and growing from it. I probably would have got to the end of it and been really pissed off that I'd wasted a lot of time taking my focus off what I needed to be doing. Okay. So that's sort of what prompted this whole chat today, about, what I'm doing. Is like, don't do things for other people if it's just people pleasing. If it's not one for me scheduled, or if you schedule as well into your time, book time, like once again, your time's valued. Okay. Or if you're just doing it to people please because you're worried about how the other person will take it if you say, look, I don't have time, or I'm not here to entertain. Okay, so be mindful of that, and be okay with it if that does happen. Now, in touching on that as well, if you are bored, if you do get bored, and if you're fortunate enough to have enough time to get bored, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend, using that time definitely to learn and grow. Like if you're bored of playing video games, if you're bored of sitting around, if you're bored of sitting on your ass, or whatever it is, right? This is a perfect opportunity to, put yourself out of your comfort zone, or push yourself as a person to grow and learn, and pick up a book, whether it's start learning. It's like, you'll be so grateful you did in years to come, when life catches up and you might have a family or a hectic job and you don't have that time. All you'll be wishing you did was have that little bit of time to be bored, i.e. learn and grow. So definitely, if you get bored, start thinking outside the box of just needing to hang out with people and do stuff like that. Spend some time with yourself, getting to know yourself. Like, what are your values? What do you want to, what are your goals? What are you lacking on in areas of your life? What do you need to improve on as a person? So in saying that as well, finally finishing up on the board stuff, it's like, when a lot of people who can't get bored because they are so busy. And like I said earlier, there's a massive difference between being busy, right, and being productive. And at the end of the day, what gets you results, or what improves your life, or the tasks that you need to get done, is being productive. It's not being busy. Being busy is overwhelming. It's running around without a direction, trying to get shit done, right? But most of the time it doesn't happen. So I want you to think about now, and this goes back to what I was touching on before, do those tasks. So write down your top 5. I personally do 5 tasks a day. Okay, it's called the Ivy Lee method, so IVY method. Okay, and you can just Google that, Lee, Lee method, and have a read about that method. It's incredible. For me, I learned it a couple of years ago and I took it on board for a little bit, but then I relearned it about a year ago and I have kept it on board, and it's made things super productive. So in work or in life, if you give yourself 5 daily tasks, with one being the most important to get done, and you just work on that, don't get distracted, because once again, if you get distracted, you're being busy, because while you're on the next task, you're thinking about going back and completing that other task. You're not giving it 100% of your focus, right? And it just doesn't make sense that we do that, but we do. So as you start working on one task at a time and ticking it off, you'll just see that to-do list crumble, right? And you'll also feel amazing because you're doing it at a higher quality and you're doing it a lot more efficiently. So say, for example, right now I've got this podcast I wanted to do. So I turned off everything else. I turned off Facebook. I got my coffee and my view, right? So no real distractions. And then I've got a few other tasks underneath that I need to do. Whereas rather than trying to do this podcast and also then stopping halfway through and being like, right, I need to do task 2, right? I'm just going to finish this and feel good, cross it off because I know it's done. And then I'll move on to task 2, and it'll be the same with task 2, right? No distractions about task 3 or thinking about how awesome my task 1 was. It's just get in, get it done, and set yourself a time frame. Like, you should roughly know how long it takes you to do a task, right? So give it the time, put a timer on, and work your ass off to get it done. Because if you're getting it all done in time schedule, you'll probably finish all your daily chores or tasks, jobs, whatever, by lunchtime. And it's like, hey, what have I got to do this afternoon? Well, if you can go on with some more work, awesome. If not, take the afternoon off, do something fun, go hang out, enjoy life, right? So it's super exciting. Okay, and now finally on that as well, if you don't finish the 5 tasks for the day, you just move what's left. So say you got task 4 and 5 you didn't get to today, just move that to the top of tomorrow's list and then add 3 more to-do list tasks underneath that. So it's super simple, guys, and this is all going back to valuing your time and being productive over being busy and helping people understand that you value your time, so they need to value your time, right? And the more you do that, the more you're going to start seeing your life thrive. You're going to see less stress in your life. You're not going to be racing around in your head wondering what you should be doing, or if you've got enough done, or if you're being productive, or if you're moving forward. All those thoughts that happen on a daily basis. You're going to have that extra bit of peace of mind, and you're going to be able to go home at the end of the day without that sort of worry over your head about whether you did enough or if you've got an incomplete task. So get super excited about that, guys. And once again, thank you guys for listening. If you have found value from this, just rate it. Give me a 5-star. That'd be massively appreciated, or 4-star. Leave some comments. And like I said, if you wanted to get in touch with me or call in, jump on the app called Anchor, Anchor, and then just find my profile, Lachlan Stuart, and then call in and just leave me a question. I'd love to have a chat and interact with you guys. Have a great Tuesday. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachlan Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.